warm welcome to The World Today. I'm Amarachi Ubani. Here's what's coming up within the half hour. Bandits kill at least 2 people, abduct worshippers during church service in Kwara State, Nigeria. 13 people reportedly killed after Israeli strikes on a Palestinian refugee camp in southern Lebanon. Plus, U.S. President Donald Trump praises the Saudi Crown Prince over his $1 trillion investment in the U.S. Let's begin The World Today. We're beginning here in Nigeria, where a violent bandit attack in Eruku, Ekiti State, Ekiti State local government area, beg your pardon, in Kwara State, Nigeria, has left 2 people dead and 1 person injured, an unspecified number of residents abducted. Eyewitnesses say heavily armed attackers stormed the community in the evening of Tuesday, forcing many residents to flee into nearby bushes for safety. Locals described the assault as sudden and intense, with gunfire erupting across the area. And a video posted online showed an attack on a church in the community as worshippers held a midweek service, which was being streamed online. The police say 1 worshipper was killed during the attack. Another's body was found in the bushes much later. Community members report that the Eruku has endured near constant attacks over the past 3 weeks, with repeated raids occurring despite multiple distress calls to local authorities. Fear and anxiety are mounting as residents struggle to protect themselves and their families. The Kwara State Police Command confirmed the attack and casualty figures, noting the police operatives are working alongside local vigilantes. They responded quickly to the fire. A police public relations officer says a swift action by operatives and their allies forced the hoodlums to retreat into the bushes, preventing further immediate harm. Meanwhile, the state governor, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, has condemned the attack, calling for urgent reinforcement of security across the Eruku axis. He's also requested the immediate deployment of additional security personnel to curb the new wave of violence and restore calm in the area. The governor has assured residents the state government will continue to support security agencies in safeguarding lives and protecting property across Kwara State, pledging ongoing efforts to prevent further attacks. Nigeria's security situation continues to receive international attention. On Tuesday, U.S. award-winning rapper Onika Tanya Marach Betty, also known professionally as Nicki Minaj, addressed a UN event in New York. She publicly backed President Donald Trump's claim that Christians face persecution in Nigeria. Minaj said Christians in the country are being targeted, with churches being burnt and families displaced based on their religion. Analysts say jihadists and other armed groups have carried out violence that affects multiple communities in Nigeria, regardless of religion or background. She called for the protection of Christians in Nigeria, said she was not taking sides nor dividing people, but this was about uniting humanity.
Urgent action to defend Christians in Nigeria.
Let's bring in international security expert, communications specialist and development expert, Tim Melaye. He joins us from Monrovia, Liberia, where he'll be discussing this issue from. Tim, great to see you on the program. And I know that you have been very aware of the recent security issues here in Nigeria, coming after President Donald Trump's remarks about the country being country of particular concern, and then also warning the terrorists, saying that America is ready to intervene. So the president now says he wants to explore diplomatic avenues to resolving the insecurity in Nigeria and ending those attacks against Christians, fighting the terrorists. Do you think that the president's recent decision to explore these diplomatic avenues may have emboldened these terrorists to carry out the attacks that they did on Monday and on Tuesday? And on Monday, I'm referring to the abduction of the girls at a school in Kebbi State and then the attack on the community in Kwara on Tuesday.
Thank you very much, Marachi, for having me. I would like to also thank the viewers for joining this afternoon. Indeed, the issues that relate particularly to security at global level, when it gets to getting some level of international attention, will, in one way or the other, attract an immediate response from terrorist group. I absolutely agree with Mr. President, particularly with the decision to engage international help. Most often, in terms of fighting terrorism and insurgencies like we are facing in Nigeria today, require more than just what we have in terms of our access to intelligence. It's just beyond local intelligence gathering, sometimes access to some kind of software, some kind of technology that grant access to listening to communications through the telecoms, through other means that you can access information will become helpful. So I agree with the president that the possibility for us to explore higher technology in intelligence gathering will be helpful. Of course, the comment by the president of the United States of America, President Donald Trump, will also be one of the reasons why we've seen increased attack. One of the things that terrorists want to do is to create chaotic environments. And the more they create chaotic environment, the more attention they get, and then the more they assert themselves. So such statement from President Donald Trump could trigger in one way or the other for them to consistently show that they are powerful, they cannot easily be eliminated, and all of those things. So the president is doing the right part if indeed they engage other diplomatic engagements, not like invading Nigeria for war or just encroaching Nigerian level of sovereignty, but in a point whereby you can have a constructive engagement, a bilateral, multilateral engagement that could provide some technical support where need be for identification of intelligence, gathering intelligence, and be able to prevent these things before they happen. When they happen, and then you start to run around, it actually put the government, the policymakers, and particularly the security agencies in a position where they cannot have the necessary coordination that is required to confront these things the way they should. So preventive, like we always know in local parlance, in easy parlance, is that is better than cure. So intelligence gathering is essential. Sometimes you have these challenges that this intelligence are shared, and there were no preventive measures enough for these attacks to happen. And when they happen like this, they throw even the highest security operatives out of balance. And this is what we are seeing in Nigeria. I agree absolutely that we should explore every opportunity to save lives and properties in Nigeria.
So still talking about international response to this, Nicki Minaj, an American rapper, a celebrity, well-known, has many followers on social media, addressed the New York event yesterday. She said she wasn't, doing this, taking any sides. The most important thing was uniting humanity, people having freedom of worship, freedom of association, freedom to, be associated with whatever they want to be associated with, and that should be respected. She said not only for Nigeria, but also for people across the world. Usually when you see celebrities jump on this, it's because, they take these causes to heart and they consider them important. So what impact do you think her voice will make either on the U.S. president, the U.S. government, as they prepare the response, and even here in Nigeria, as security agents and forces try to quell terrorist attacks?
Thank you very much. I particularly like the position that Nicki Minaj took, because the position she emphasized that she was not taking side in terms of, because it's a very difficult thing for somebody of her caliber, somebody of her recognition, to take a very strong position, particularly when it relates to issues that relate to religion. So the point is that we must depersonalize this fight indeed. We must separate it practically from religion as it is, because we will find out that in these killings, we have a lot of Christians being killed. Indeed, we still have a lot of Muslims being killed. So if we do not find a way to unite humanity and isolate criminals and call them criminals for who they are, we will end up building unnecessary other tensions that will come into this fight. So we must be able to isolate the main point of the issue, which are criminals, until we identify them as criminals, so that those harboring themselves among the people, among Muslims community, can be pushed out by the Muslims. Those harboring themselves among Christian communities can be pushed out from the communities, so that we isolate them as criminals and be able to address them as criminals. I believe that our voice is strong enough. She has a global recognition, and this also is putting a more effort to push forward. Again, because President Donald Trump is a leader who is quite sensitive in terms of our response to things. Looking at what Nicki Minaj said yesterday, of course, could trigger an excitement, particularly for a president like President Donald Trump, for them to continue to make a voice towards this. Our effort is not for invasion of Nigeria. All effort should be to curb this, save humanity, save human life, and every voice should count. Not to count on one side of the divide, but to push humanity together to fight criminality. And this is a narrative I want to see that the leadership in Nigeria pushes forward, to see that we push forward the voice that, yes, criminals are criminals. Irrespective of whatever claims they hold, we should push them, isolate them as criminals, and attack and deal with them as criminals. Indeed, everyone across the world look for a stronger, decisive action that will curb these activities. As a security expert, as someone who has gone around the globe looking at issues that deal with terrorism, radicalization, and de-radicalization, it is very, very essential for countries, for organizations, and for voices like that of Nicki Minaj to speak out, but not speaking out on the side of the divide, like she has rightly done, is to speak out for isolation of the criminals and dealing with them as criminals. So humanity must come together to crush evil. And that is the point that all we must emphasize to see the end of this.
Yeah, but speaking out, there has to be some implementation on the ground. There has to be some movement on the ground. And I think that is what Nigerians fail to see. I did have a friend from the U.S. who was telling me she'd seen the video, of the attack on the church. And she was just saying, they're looking at the camera, people can identify them. I didn't know how to tell her, that it kind of doesn't work that way in Nigeria. But in more developed climates, that is just how it works. I mean, if you're able to identify the people in the video, then it's easier to actually get to them. Help us understand here, why that would be difficult for us, or if it is even difficult. Am I making excuses for the security forces, or, there is something more going on behind?
I absolutely believe that our security forces are doing the best they can do given the circumstances they are having, but they can certainly do more than they are doing at the moment. So the best is their best, but it is not good enough. Why? Because one of the major challenges that we have here is availability of reliable data. Let me give you an example. If today I drive on the street in Washington, D.C., on Virginia, and I beat traffic, my vehicle's number is in the system. The owner of the vehicle's detail is in the system. His address is identifiable. A ticket will be served that same evening or the next day to the owner of the vehicle that beats the traffic or that picked the traffic lights. But in Nigeria, this person will beat the traffic lights. You will find out that the plate number that is registered with the vehicle, the address that the person put might end up as a cemetery.
Wow.
So technology, data gathering, data collection, all of those becomes very essential in security network globally. But in Nigeria now, you've seen the face of the person. Even if you do face masks, how many addresses are traceable within our country? For instance, if you go to a Adimole and say somebody stays there and you give you an address, it's very difficult for you to trace. So these are the issues that we have that we must also recognize while we're making comparison within jurisdictions. There are other challenges that are just not just the security forces alone, but which has to do with our core infrastructural challenges that we face. So one is that, can I identify the address? Can we trace this person? Do we have data of this identity? Sometimes even our parents, our grandparents, we don't know their ages. We cannot even identify their ages. There are no data to back up any information about them. There are societies whereby virtually everybody's DNA is stored somewhere. Those kind of information will be useful when you are tracking criminals like this. So these are the kind of gaps we face. Does that excuse the security agencies and our authorities? Absolutely no. It means that we must build the infrastructure that will help us to fight these criminalities.
I think that is a very valid point. Thank you so much, Tim, for bringing out at least very salient, important issues that we haven't even explored further, on the program. We'll be reaching out to you, of course, some more as we continue to consider this situation as it develops. Thank you again, Tim Malaye, for joining us on The World Today.
Thank you, Amarachi. Thank you for having me.
Elsewhere now, at least 13 people have been killed in an Israeli airstrike in the Ain al-Hilwa refugee camp in Sidon, southern Lebanon. Several emergency and civil defense vehicles were seen arriving and leaving the site. The Israeli Defense Force says the strike targeted Hamas operatives, allegedly using the camp to plan attacks against Israel, adding that precise munitions and aerial surveillance were used to limit civilian harm. Hamas denied the claims and claimed it what it called a brutal assault on civilians. The camp is reported to host around 80,000 people. And at least 25 people, including 3 children, have been killed in a Russian drone and missile strike on the western city of Ternopil in Ukraine. According to officials, 73 others were wounded, including 15 children, in one of the deadliest strikes in the region since Russia launched its full-scale invasion in 2022. Strikes also hit the western regions of Lviv and Ivano-Frankivsk, while drone attacks targeted 3 districts of Kharkiv, injuring more than 30 people. The Ukraine's Air Force says it shot down 442 of 476 drones and 41 of 48 missiles fired by Russia. The Air Force says 10 cruise missiles were also downed by Ukrainian F-16 and Mirage 2000 jets. We're off on a short break on the World Today, still ahead. You won't believe this one. Peru secures the Best Chocolate in the World award in the 2025 International Chocolate Awards. You've got to see this. Stay with us. Welcome back to the World Today. Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has met with U.S. President Donald Trump at the White House, marking his first visit to Washington in 8 years. Trump praised the Saudi prince as a partner for peace and prosperity, thanking him also for a planned $1 trillion investment in the U.S. economy. President Trump said the Crown Prince knew nothing about the 2018 killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, appearing to contradict a 2021 U.S. intelligence report which said he approved the operation. The Crown Prince denies wrongdoing, telling officials Saudi Arabia took all necessary steps to investigate the death, which he described as painful.
It is indeed my honor to welcome to the White House a great friend and a man of leadership, vision, courage, and strength, His Royal Highness Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And we had a big day today, a very big day for both countries. We've gotten to know each other well over the years, and he has become a true partner for peace and prosperity for our countries and for the world and for peace in the Middle East, which was a crowning achievement for both of us. And I just want to say that Crown Prince Mohammed, we're delighted to have you with us at the White House. Members of the Saudi delegation, we want to thank you very much for being with us. We spent a lot of time with you today in the cabinet. You're extremely good negotiators, that I can tell you. So I look forward to working with you, and we'll be here for 3¼ years. For the Trump, that's like an eternity. You know, for somebody else, that doesn't sound long, but we love doing it. We love, you know, we have an expression, make America great again, and that's what we're doing beyond what anyone even thought possible. So I just want to thank you for being a very big part of it. And I want to thank you for a $1 trillion investment and contribution toward our country. That's a lot of jobs. Thank you very much.
Let's go to Brazil now. The COP30 presidency has released a first draft decision on the ongoing climate conference, invoking the Brazilian-Portuguese concept of Mutirão, meaning spirit of collective effort. The COP presidency called the first draft Global Mutirão, uniting humanity in a global mobilization against climate change. In the meantime, the Nigerian delegation, who's there in Belém, launched an integrated climate action plan. Our correspondent, Ayola Kasim, has more.
A sovereign motherland. Nigerians and delegates from other countries, despite the high temperatures in the pavilion area, trooped to the Nigerian stand on the second Tuesday of COP30 to mark the Nigeria Day. First, the Minister of Regional Development launched a 5-year integrated climate action plan for driving investment for the development of the country's regions, in line with the Paris Agreement.
Well, in 5 years' time, we expect that the ministry will be able to draw from carbon financing. We'll also be able to get green funding in order to address some of these challenges in all the regions.
During Nigeria Day, delegates hold discussions on climate actions, national initiatives, and high-level dialogues. Government officials say this is a day to market the country.
It's an opportunity for us to actually, have that cultural exchange, knowledge exchange, technological exchange, so that we advance our own activity at home. So it is not a jamboree, it is an opportunity for us to learn.
But with hours ticking down towards the end of the talks, decisions on many issues still hang in the balance. One of these is on connecting the 3 Rio conventions addressing climate change, biodiversity loss, and land degradation.
One or two parties are thinking that it's at the early stage for there to be a draft text. So they have not even been a draft text yet, because still it's still at the technical level. So there's no draft text yet. So we are trying to push to see that at least let's leave COP30 with a draft text.
Meanwhile, the COP30 presidency has released a first draft called Mutual Decision. It summarizes the consideration of countries' national plans and the obligation of developed countries to provide climate finance and unilateral trade measures. But experts say the roadmap to transition away from fossil fuel it presents falls too short for what is needed to avert global climate crisis. From the Hangar Convention and First Center of the Amazon in Belém, Brazil, Ayola Kasim, Channels Television News.
Thanks, Ayola. And where can you get the best chocolate in the world? I tell you, it's not Belgium, it's not Paris, it's Peru. Peru has won the title of Best Chocolate in the World at the 2025 International Chocolate Awards with El Ganso 70% bar by Cacasuyo named overall winner. Well, the founder of the brand said the award fulfilled a long-held mission to showcase Peruvian cacao to the world, adding that the country's diverse cacao genetics give it a unique edge. Peru is home to 16 of 25 identified global cacao genetic groups, providing a wide range of flavor profiles and production potential. The founder says the recognition will also benefit farmers such as Luis Samieno, who work closely with the brand on post-harvest processing. Cacao Suyo has previously won multiple global awards for dark and milk chocolates from regions including the Amazonas, Cusco, and Piura. The El Ganso bar surpassed competitors from Europe, even Africa and Asia, further solidifying Peru's position as a global cacao powerhouse. I have to taste it to believe it. Thanks for watching The World Today. I'm Amarachi Rubani.